Hello to all my fellow JNUC attendees. Welcome to session 1183, Jamf Now and Package Deployment. My name is Chaz, and my role at Jamf is a Senior Technical Support Engineer. My main focus is supporting our most technical Jamf Now cases. It's very common for these cases to revolve around macOS packaging, which is what sparked my interest in hosting this session. The objective of this session is to define what a macOS package is, why you as a Jamf Now admin would utilize package deployment, and demo the process from start to finish. Let's dig into it. So what is a macOS package? Apple defines the Mac package as any directory that Finder presents to the user as if it were a single file. This means that all package files look identical on the surface, but its contents will vary depending on how the package was built. Inside any given package are code and resources that execute certain actions when the package becomes installed on a Mac. One common use case for packages is to install applications that are hosted outside of the App Store. You can also deploy files like fonts and printers to Macs via a custom-made package as well. The screenshot in front of us displays Jamf Composer in the process of building an Apple Configurator 2 package. This package was built by dragging and dropping an already installed Apple Configurator 2 app from the Applications folder into Composer. Note how Composer reflects the directory structure of Apple Configurator to match where it was dragged and dropped from. The directory structure of the package is critical as it ensures the package contents install in the correct location on a Mac. And right on your screen is an example of what your average script looks like in Jamf Now. Scripts are intended to be used to execute certain actions during the installation of a package. One can happen prior to the installation of the package, which is called a pre-install script. And scripts can also be executed after the package installs, which would be called a post-install script. Pre-install scripts, for example, can be used in situations where maybe you want to check if a piece of software is installed before running the main components of the package. And on the flip side, a post-install script could be used to, say, remove files from the Mac after the main components of the package installs. There's many different reasons why someone would use scripting within the package context, and it's just another valid piece of what makes macOS packaging such a powerful and customizable tool for deploying content to a managed Mac. And this is all stuff that we'll go into during this presentation as well. So there are two requirements for creating and deploying packages. The first requirement is you'll need Jamf Now Plus. Upgrading your account to Jamf Now Plus grants you as an admin additional product capabilities. The two relevant capabilities in this case are the ability to upload and deploy packages along with Jamf Composer at no additional cost to you. The second requirement is an Apple developer account. It's also necessary because it's going to be used to sign packages with Composer. Apple developer accounts, again, require a Duns & Bradstreet number as well as a $100 annual subscription, so that's something to keep in mind as well. Let's do a quick breakdown of the different components at play. So first we have Composer, which lets you as an admin build the macOS package. Second, we have an Apple developer account, which allows for the creation of a developer ID installer certificate. And this certificate type is necessary for signing packages with Composer. And lastly, we have Jamf Now, which is used to deploy the built and signed package to manage Macs. All three of these components combined allow for package creation and deployment. How do we know when it makes sense to utilize package deployment? That's kind of the question, isn't it? One major reason to utilize package deployment is deploying apps that are not in the App Store. App Store app deployment is made possible using Apple Business Manager and volume purchasing app deployment. But for apps that aren't in the App Store, they can be packaged using Composer and deployed to Macs via packaged app deployment in Jamf Now. You'll also want to utilize packaging to deploy unique files like fonts and printers to manage Macs, and any scripting needs for Jamf Now managed Macs are best accomplished using package deployment. Some apps can also have unique serialization where an extra serializer file is needed to be deployed alongside the application. Using macOS package deployment would also be the way you would accomplish this task. And again, this is just like a short list of examples that I can grant and give you for when to use package deployment, but there's so much more, and that's just a result of the customizable nature that macOS packaging is. Each admin situation is going to call for different ways to do different things. So these are all things to evaluate when you go about deciding whether to use packaging or not. But on the flip side, let's talk to when not to use, or situations where you may not want to use package deployment. Most admins kind of utilize a mix of both packaging and volume purchasing app deployment when it comes to deploying content to their Mac. Again, volume purchasing app deployment does require an Apple Business Manager account and integrating with that. But mainly that gives you the ability to deploy managed apps to Macs without any packaging hoops to jump through. Managed apps allow for benefits such as MDM app removal, as well as managed automatic app updates. Packaging, on the other hand, requires you to build and deploy a new package build for each app version update if you as an admin want to be the one to manage app updates using packaging. So, and keep in mind, these are pros and cons of package deployment when it comes to create your game plan. So evaluating all this information when you decide whether, hey, do I want to deploy Office using a package, or do I want to deploy it just using VPP? Those are two things that you have to, these two slides are valuable to use as consideration for making that decision. And here's just a screenshot of what licensed app deployment looks like. This is not packaging, so we're not going to go too deep into this, but it is a valuable tool to have access to. Kind of both combined give you different options when it comes to deploying content to a Mac. And let's dig into it. It's demo time. We can demo this process from start to finish. I have some embedded videos in this keynote. I'll talk over them, tell you kind of what's going on, and we'll go from there. So step one, first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to create a developer ID installer certificate. And as a reminder, this is what you'll use as an admin to sign a package using Composer. So let's dig into it. So on the screen in front of us, we see an Apple developer account already signed in. We have Tom demoing this for us, and we'll start by going to the certificates, identifiers, and profiles within Apple Developer. We'll click the plus sign, and we'll look for the installer that we want to create, or the certificate that we want to create, which is the developer ID installer. We're now met with this page where we're asked to upload a certificate signing request. You can click Learn More, and this will give you the step-by-step instructions on how to create this developer ID installer certificate. It's a handy thing to know. But the step that Tom saw was go to Keychain Access, and that's where the CSR is going to be created. CSR is short for Certificate Signing Request. To create it, Keynote Access, Certificate Assistant, request a certificate from a certificate authority. And again, this is in Keychain Access as well, comes pre-installed in all Macs. We are now met with the Certificate Assistant kind of window that's going to ask us for an email address and a common name. In these fields, there's no wrong answer to enter. What I can tell you is these are good fields to use as identifiers for who created the certificate and what its main purpose is. So you as an admin, say if down the line you had to revoke this access, you'll know which certificate you're looking at. So that's mainly what these fields are used for. There's no wrong answer again. And instead of entering an email address, we're going to save it to the disk. And this will just save the CSR to the desktop. In this case is where Tom saved it. So doesn't matter where you save it. You can save it anywhere on your computer. Doesn't matter. We hit done here. We have the CSR on the desktop. Next step is to jump back into Apple Developer. We'll select Choose File to choose to upload that CSR that was downloaded in step one. We'll find it, which is on the desktop. We hit Upload. And the last step is to hit Continue to actually create the certificate. So we'll see Tom here do that shortly. Processing. And there's a certificate. Last step is to download the certificate that was just created back to your Mac, because that certificate needs to live back in the keychain. So in this case, Tom downloaded it to his downloads folder. He's going to open up his downloads folder in Finder and just double click on it. And it'll ask, do you want to install this in the login keychain? He hit add. And now he has the correct certificate installed in his keychain that Composer will reference. Composer will pull up a huge list of certificates it sees in the keychain. It'll see that this certificate is installed and allow you to select it as an option when signing a package. Fantastic. Step two, Upgrade to Jamf Now Plus and download and install Composer. Again, let's just dig right into it. We'll start by opening up Safari. We'll go to login.jamfnow.com. Log in with your credentials. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll click on your name and the account. You can see my account's currently on standard. To upgrade to Plus, I will hit Compare Plans. That shows us what benefits I get from upgrading to Jamf Now Plus. If it's something that I want to do, I hit Upgrade. And once upgraded, this will now give us the ability to A, upload custom packages, and B, download Composer within the product itself with no additional cost. So under the Upload Your App box or tab in Jamf Now, there's a Learn More About Composer, which brings you to this landing page where you can download Composer. Composer downloads as a DMG. You open up the file, which will open up the composer.app, and then you can place it anywhere on your Mac that you want. In this case, I'm going to open up a new Finder window, and I'm going to drag and drop Composer into the applications folder where it's going to live on this Mac, and I can use it whenever I want to create packages, to assign packages, to do whatever I want to do. So I have Composer installed. Soon in this last presentation that I'm about to show, I'm going to show installing a certificate to my keychain that was exported. I'll show you right now. It'll probably make a little more sense as I do it. So we'll go to the last demo, which is build, sign, upload, deploy, and inspect. So this is kind of the main meat and potatoes of this presentation. We'll hit next. And the first thing that'll be shown is me going to my downloads folder and installing the exported signing certificate that Tom created in that first kind of step one presentation. So he created it on his Mac, and then he exported it from his keychain and sent it to me so I can install it on whatever Mac I want and use that to sign packages. Note that it was password protected, so you can't, not anyone could just get in and sign packages. Like, there are security blockers around that. So we're jumping ahead. We have Composer open. I just installed the exported signing certificate to my keychain, and now I'm dragging and dropping Chrome into Composer as a source. And this is me showing you the directory structure that's shown in Composer. We're showing the exact directory structure of where Chrome was pulled from, including it nested under the applications folder. Here's me showing you how you add a script. If you wanted to add any script to this package, right under that script subfolder. Again, any part of this directory can have its permissions change. So if that's something that you need to do when building this package, that happens in that lower right-hand corner. And this is me showing you as well how to choose what certificate to sign it with. See how it recognizes the developer ID installer based on what was installed in the keychain. We're good to go. Just went ahead and started creating the package. And while this package is being created, I'm going to log into Jamf Now so we can just go ahead and start uploading it once it's created. We see it actually just showed up on the desktop. Have to enter in a few admin passwords to allow for the package to be signed. And there we go. We have Google Chrome created and it's signed and is ready for uploading. I'm going to add an app in Jamf Now, upload your app, and just dragging and dropping it. And while this is uploading, it'll take a little bit. I'm demoing two tools that we use in support. One is Suspicious Package, and it'll be in the handout that I've attached to this session. And Suspicious Package is super valuable for just inspecting packages that you get from the internet. We use it in support. So if a customer ever sends us a package, usually we start by looking at it in Suspicious Package to see how the package is built, what scripts are included, is it signed, are there any type of flags that they're like flags that the software sees that could, explain maybe why the package isn't deploying successfully. Suspicious Package is great. It's free also too. And then I'm also opening Console, which comes pre-installed in all macOS machines, just to show the install log, which is a relevant log that you'll use when troubleshooting and investigating packages that install on a Mac. So if you ever deploy a package to a Mac and it's not installing, or you're not seeing the behavior that you'd expect when you're deploying the package, a great place to look at is the install.log, because macOS writes any package installation logs to that log itself. And then you can inspect that and see, oh, it failed because this log, it didn't fail because of the log, but this log explains why failure occurred. So console.app is a super valuable tool. It'll be showing off here in a sec. Package uploaded, naming it appropriately. It's now a part of my apps tab, so I have this app in my app library. This Mac on the screen that I just pulled up in Jamf Now is the one that I'm actually recording this demo on. So we can see we haven't yet scoped the JNUC package to this Mac, so we're going to go ahead and do so by adding the package to the apps tab of the blueprint. And what that does is that essentially tells any device associated with that blueprint to install that package. And that would be any Mac, because you can't really tell Mac, or you can't tell packages install on iOS devices. We see the package shows it's sent. So the app is already sent to the Mac. I quickly deleted Chrome so I can prove that Chrome is going to be installing through the package that I deployed through Jamf Now. We showed it just appear right there. It's not finished installing though. It's just actually started. So while we wait for that to finish, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks in console on what logs that I use when inspecting packages. Again, it's the install.log, and every installation of a package begins with begin install. So usually the first step I recommend is finding where that first log was generated, and then looking at any contents under begin install to just essentially observe how macOS handled the installation of that package. As you can see, I found the timestamp of the Chrome package that just installed on here. Console can kind of be weird and kind of jump you all around, even though you don't want to stop looking at what you're looking at. So what I usually do is just take all the entire log and I just paste it in a text document, so I can, make sure I'm not getting all, I can essentially look at what I want to look at. So here's me copying everything in the install log, just pasting it in a text edit document. And now I'm going to filter for that begin install log. I found it. I know that everything under that begin install log is essentially logs from the package trying to install on the Mac. This is the Mac writing these logs to this file. And I can use this, like, say, for instance, I deploy Chrome to a Mac. If I don't see Chrome install and I redeploy it, 2 times and it's still not showing as installed, the place that I'd want to look at is here to see what potentially, like, what's happening under the hood that isn't allowing for this package to install. Sometimes scripts scripting errors will show in here. Sometimes just like the installation of the file will show here. You'll know the log ends when you see end install towards the bottom there as well. So you only want to look between where begin install and end install, all the contents in between there, which is pretty much just all the logs that the installation of the package generated. So a little bit messier than I'd like to demo it, but just the takeaways when using console.app are begin install is the indicator for when the package began installing. Everything under that is the package and what's going on under the hood when it's trying to install, and then end install is the ending of it. So use that, use that when it makes sense to use it. If you ever need to loop in Jamf Now support, let us know. We'll help you out inspecting those logs too, and maybe even test deployment on our side as well to compare. And usually when you introduce a new package into your Jamf Now account, it's best to test deployment on a single Mac before pushing it out to all Macs, right? Because you just want to make sure that the way the package is built allows for what you're trying to accomplish, right? And the best way to do that is just by testing it on a single one, and then when you're ready and comfortable and you're confident in it, scope it out to all Macs to allow for them to install that. But yeah, that's been this presentation. Hopefully this is insightful. Hopefully you gained something from this. I appreciate you very much for attending, taking 18 minutes out of your day to attend this, and hopefully you got some from it. And I appreciate you. And don't hesitate to reach out to Jamf Now support, either through directly in your account under help and support, or just emailing us at support@jamfnow.com. But anyways, my name's Chaz. It's been fun and amazing, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you at next JNUC.